Have you ever felt a deep, instinctual urge to run from pain? We all do. Society teaches us from our first breath that comfort is the goal. Happiness, we are told, is a life without sharp edges, a smooth road with no obstacles. We build our entire existence around this one simple idea: avoid suffering at all costs. We see pain as a malfunction, a bug in the system of our lives, something to be medicated, ignored, or distracted from until it disappears. This pursuit of a painless life seems logical. Why would anyone willingly choose hardship? We chase fleeting pleasures and wrap ourselves in layers of security, hoping to create a fortress against the harsh realities of the world. We believe that if we can just arrange our lives perfectly, if we can get the right job, the right partner, the right amount of money, we can finally lock the door on pain forever. This is the promise we are sold every single day. Look at the world we've built around this idea. Our screens offer us an endless escape into other people's curated, perfect lives, making our own struggles feel like a personal failure. We have pills to numb our bodies and endless entertainment to numb our minds. We are encouraged to seek the easy path, the popular opinion, the comfortable consensus. The message is clear and relentless. Discomfort is failure, and serenity is success. This is the great modern lie. We become masters of avoidance. When a difficult conversation arises, we change the subject. When a challenging task appears, we procrastinate. When a feeling of emptiness creeps in, we turn up the volume on our distractions. We are like pilots who refuse to fly in anything but perfectly clear skies, forgetting that a ship is not built to stay safe in the harbor. We protect ourselves so much that we forget what it feels like to truly live. But a question lingers in the quiet moments, doesn't it? If this life of comfort is the ultimate goal, why do so many of us feel so empty? Why does the anxiety persist, humming just beneath the surface of our carefully constructed peace? We have more comfort and more convenience than any generation in history, yet we are plagued by a sense of meaninglessness. This is the first clue that our map of the world is drawn upside down. The great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche saw this contradiction clearly. He looked at the society of his time, so desperate for comfort and herd morality, and he proposed a radical, terrifying idea. He suggested that our relentless flight from pain is not just misguided. It is the very thing that keeps us weak, small, and incomplete. He argued that we were trading our potential for greatness for a life of quiet, comfortable desperation. What if the things you are running from are not your enemies? What if the discomfort, the heartbreak, the failure, and the struggle are not obstacles on your path, but are the path itself? This is the beginning of a profound shift in understanding. It's the moment you stop asking, "How can I avoid this?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" It is the moment you stop running and turn to face the shadow. Let's follow this thought. Think of the things that have truly shaped you. Was it the easy, forgettable days, or the moments of intense challenge? Was it the times you got exactly what you wanted without effort, or the times you failed, fell, and had to find the strength to get back up? The truth is, our character is not forged in comfort. It is hammered into shape on the anvil of adversity. Visual prompt: a close-up of a glowing, red-hot piece of metal being struck by a blacksmith's hammer on a dark anvil, sending sparks flying. Dramatic graphic novel illustration, gritty comic book art, strong, bold black outlines, high contrast cell shading, cinematic lighting. So we live in this paradox. We are told to seek a life free from pain, but such a life would leave us fragile, untested, and undeveloped. It would be like a muscle that is never exercised, growing weak and atrophied. The comfortable life we are sold is a cage disguised as a paradise. It promises safety, but delivers stagnation. It keeps us from the very experiences that are necessary for our growth. This is the unraveling of the great lie. The foundation of our modern belief system begins to tremble. The pursuit of painless existence is not the path to a good life. It is a guarantee of a shallow one. The constant avoidance of suffering doesn't eliminate it. It just ensures that we are never strong enough to handle it when it inevitably arrives. We have been running in the wrong direction. The feeling of being lost starts to make sense. It's the soul's rebellion against a life without challenge. That low-level anxiety we try to numb is actually a signal, an alarm bell telling you that you are living out of alignment with your own potential. It is the cry of your inner strength, begging to be tested, begging to be used. It's the boredom of a warrior who has been given nothing to fight for. The perfect lives we see on our screens now appear for what they are, carefully constructed illusions. The endless smiles start to look like masks. The perfect bodies and perfect vacations become a monotonous sea of conformity. You begin to see the profound emptiness behind the flawless facade. The happiness on display is not joy. It is the absence of any real deep feeling. It is a hollow performance for an unseen audience. This realization brings a new kind of pain. It's the pain of disillusionment. You see the comfortable cage you've been living in, and for the first time you feel the bars. You notice the chains of social expectation on your wrists and the weight of other people's opinions on your shoulders. The world that once seemed safe and reassuring now feels restrictive and suffocating. This is a necessary and crucial step. Think of your own life. Think of a time you chose comfort over a difficult truth, a time you stayed silent when you should have spoken, or stayed still when you should have acted. How did it feel afterwards? Not powerful, not free. It likely felt like a small betrayal of the self. Each time we run from unnecessary pain, we chip away at our own integrity, leaving ourselves a little smaller and a little weaker than before. Nietzsche would call this the morality of the herd. The desire to be safe, to fit in, to be like everyone else. The herd offers warmth and protection, but at the cost of your individuality. It demands you dull your sharp edges, quiet your unique voice, and suppress your true desires to maintain the comfort of the group. The herd fears the individual who is willing to endure the pain of standing alone. The consequences of this herd life become painfully clear. It leads to a life of quiet resentment. You resent the expectations placed upon you, but you fear the pain of breaking them. You resent the path you are on, but you fear the pain of forging a new one. This internal conflict creates a constant, draining friction. You are at war with yourself, and the only strategy you've been taught is to pretend the war isn't happening. The first doubt blossoms into a full-blown rebellion. What if the goal isn't to get rid of the pain, but to get stronger? What if the point isn't to find a path without obstacles, but to become the kind of person who can overcome any obstacle? This is a terrifying question because it places all the responsibility back on you. It removes all excuses and forces you to confront your own capacity for strength. A sword that is never sharpened against a whetstone remains just a dull piece of iron. It has the potential to be a beautiful, deadly weapon, but without the friction and the grinding, it will never fulfill its purpose. We are that sword. And life's difficulties, the very things we are taught to avoid, are the whetstone. Without them, we remain dull, unrealized potential, never knowing the sharpness we were capable of. The pain you've been avoiding now takes on a new meaning. It's not a random punishment. It is a precisely targeted message. Physical pain tells you an arm is broken. Emotional pain tells you a belief is broken. Spiritual pain, the ache of meaninglessness, tells you that the way you are living your life is broken. It is a compass, and it is always pointing toward the area that needs your attention, the place where growth is waiting. So you begin to lean into the discomfort, just a little at first. You have the difficult conversation. You start the project you've been fearing. You allow yourself to feel the sadness you've been numbing. And a strange thing happens. It hurts, yes. But on the other side of that hurt is not destruction. It is a feeling of strength. A feeling of agency, a feeling of becoming more real. You start to understand that the real prison was not the pain itself, but the fear of pain. The fear is what kept you small. The fear is what kept you in the padded room. The pain itself, when you face it, is transformative. It is a fire that burns away the inessential, the weak and the false. What is left is what is true, what is strong, what is you. This is a critical turning point. You stop seeing yourself as a fragile thing that needs to be protected from the world. You start to see yourself as an anti-fragile being that gets stronger from shocks and stressors. You no longer pray for a lighter burden. Instead, you start to build a stronger back, capable of carrying not only your own weight, but the weight of your chosen purpose. The doubts about the comfortable life are no longer doubts. they are convictions. You see the people chasing endless pleasure and distraction, and you no longer feel envy. You feel a kind of compassion because you recognize their path as a dead end. You see that in their desperate attempt to escape all suffering, they have accidentally escaped all meaning as well. Your own past pains begin to reframe themselves in your memory. That devastating breakup was not just an ending, it was a lesson in self-reliance. That humiliating failure at work was not just a loss, it was a lesson in resilience. That period of lonely depression was not just an illness, it was an invitation to build a stronger inner world. Each scar becomes a map of a lesson learned. You finally understand that the quality of your life is not determined by the absence of negative experiences, but by your relationship to them. Can you use them? Can you learn from them? Can you allow them to make you deeper, wiser, and more compassionate? The goal is not to avoid the storm, but to learn how to dance in the rain, to find the music in the thunder. The generic face you wore to fit in starts to crack. The comfortable mask no longer serves you because you are no longer trying to hide, you are trying to become. The pain of being inauthentic becomes greater than the pain of being rejected. This is a profound reversal. You would rather be hated for who you truly are than loved for who you are not. You realize that the search for happiness was a trap. Happiness is a fleeting emotion, a byproduct of a life well lived. The real goal, the Nietzschean goal, is meaning. And meaning is almost always found on the other side of a difficult struggle. Meaning is what you feel when you overcome something that you thought you couldn't. It is the reward for choosing the difficult path. This first taste of growth, born from accepted pain, is intoxicating. It is real. It is earned. Unlike the fleeting high of distraction or external validation, this feeling of inner strength is yours to keep. It becomes part of you. You have taken a piece of raw, painful experience and metabolized it into power. You are no longer just a consumer of life. You are a creator of self. Now, the fear doesn't disappear entirely, but its nature changes. It is no longer the paralyzing terror of the unknown. It becomes a thrilling signal, an indicator that you are at the edge of your current capabilities, which is exactly where growth happens. You learn to use fear as a compass, pointing you toward the next adventure, the next challenge, the next version of yourself. The old world of comfort now seems like a distant dream, or rather, a pleasant nightmare. You see its allure, but you also see its profound cost. You have crossed a threshold in your own mind, and you can never go back to believing that a painless life is a good life. The unraveling is complete. You are ready for the core truth. Here is the revelation at the heart of Nietzsche's philosophy. Pain is your greatest teacher. It is not an adversary to be defeated or a nuisance to be avoided. It is a sacred mentor, a guide that has been sent to show you where you are weak, where you are clinging to falsehoods, and where you have the greatest potential to grow. It is the universe's most direct and honest form of communication. Nietzsche's famous phrase, "What does not kill me makes me stronger," is not just a catchy slogan. It is a precise biological and psychological principle. A muscle grows by being torn. An immune system grows by fighting infection. And your soul, your character, your will grows by overcoming resistance. To wish for a life without resistance is to wish for a life without strength. This is why pain is a teacher. It doesn't just give you information, it provides a direct experience of your own limits. And in showing you your limits, it gives you the opportunity to transcend them. Every time you endure, you expand your capacity to endure. Every time you face a fear, you shrink the power that fear has over you. The lesson is not in a textbook, it is written into your nervous system. Think of pain as a sculptor. You are the block of marble, full of potential, but formless. A life of comfort would leave you as an untouched, uninteresting block. But pain is the sculptor's chisel. It chips away at your ego, your complacency, your weaknesses, and your delusions. The process is violent and it hurts. But through this process, the masterpiece that was always inside you is revealed. This concept gives rise to Nietzsche's ideal, the Overman or Übermensch. This is not a superpowered being. It is a human who has overcome themselves. They have faced their own pains, their own weaknesses, their own human, all too human nature, and integrated them. They are the ones who can say yes to all of life, not just the pleasant parts, but the tragic and painful parts too, because they know it's all necessary. The overman practices what Nietzsche called amor fati, a love of one's fate. This is the ultimate goal, not just to tolerate your life, but to love it, to want nothing to be different, not the triumphs, not the mistakes, and not the suffering. To look back on your deepest pain and say, thank you. I would not be who I am without you. I would have it no other way. Pain teaches you authenticity. You cannot pretend your way through real suffering. It strips you of your social masks and your carefully crafted personas. In the crucible of a true challenge, you are forced to be honest with yourself about who you are and what you are made of. This raw honesty is the foundation upon which a truly strong identity is built. You stop performing and start being. Pain teaches you compassion. It is hard to truly understand the suffering of others until you have suffered yourself. Your own pain carves out a space in your heart that can then be filled with empathy. You see someone struggling, and you don't see weakness. You see a fellow traveler on a difficult road. The greatest saints and sages were not those who lived sheltered lives, but those who experienced deep pain and transformed it into love. Pain teaches you what is valuable. When you are comfortable, you can waste your time on trivialities. But when you are in pain or have come through it, your priorities become crystal clear. You no longer have the energy for petty drama, for meaningless pursuits, for inauthentic relationships. Pain is a filter that removes the noise and leaves only what truly matters: love, purpose, connection, and growth. So the great lie is that you should build a wall to keep pain out. The great truth is that you should build a fire to transform it. Pain is not a poison to be avoided. It is an ingredient to be used. It is the fuel for the alchemical process of turning the lead of your ordinary self into the gold of the overman. The fire is hot, but it is also purifying. This revelation changes everything. The goal of life is no longer to arrive at a destination of perpetual comfort. The goal is to engage in the process of becoming, to continually seek out worthy challenges that force you to grow, to live in such a way that you are constantly becoming stronger, wiser, and more capable. The journey itself is the destination. You finally understand the paradox. The most painful life, if faced with courage and a will to grow, can be the most meaningful, while the most comfortable life, if lived without challenge, can be the most empty. You stop measuring your life by its pleasure-to-pain ratio and start measuring it by its growth-to-stagnation ratio. This is the revaluation of all values. The pain of discipline, for example, is one you now willingly choose. The discomfort of waking up early, of exercising, of studying, of doing the hard work. You choose this smaller, voluntary pain today to avoid the much larger, involuntary pain of regret and mediocrity tomorrow. You are no longer a slave to your impulses. You are the master of your own will. The pain of loneliness is also reframed. Standing apart from the crowd is no longer a source of fear, but a sign of strength. It is the necessary price of forging your own path and thinking your own thoughts. You learn to find a deep companionship with yourself, to be your own best friend and sternest coach. The silence of solitude is no longer empty. It is full of potential. This embrace of pain is the ultimate freedom. When you are no longer afraid of suffering, what is there left to be afraid of? You can take risks. You can love deeply, knowing it might lead to heartbreak. You can pursue a great ambition, knowing it might lead to failure. You are free, because you have accepted the full, terrifying, beautiful spectrum of human experience. You become a creator of your own values. You no longer accept the prepackaged definitions of success or happiness from society. You look inward at your own unique strengths and desires, and you decide for yourself what a well-lived life looks like. You are the artist, and your life is your canvas. Pain is simply one of the most vibrant colors on your palette. This doesn't mean you seek out pain for its own sake. That is masochism, not growth. It means that when pain inevitably arrives, as it does for everyone, you do not waste it. You do not run. You stand your ground, you look it in the eye, and you ask the question, what are you here to teach me? You treat it with the respect you would give to a wise, if severe, master. Life's storms will still come. The winds will blow, and the rains will fall. But you are no longer a fragile hut that will be blown over. You have used every past storm to build yourself into a mountain. The storm may rage against you, but you are now part of the landscape, unshakable, solid, and enduring. The storm now serves to show you your own strength. The core revelation settles into you, not as an idea, but as a lived reality. Pain is the force of growth. It is the resistance that builds strength. It is the chisel that reveals the masterpiece. It is the fire that purifies. It is the honest and unrelenting teacher that guides you toward becoming the person you were always meant to be. This truth is the key that unlocks the cage. With this key in your hand, you are ready to walk the path. Not the easy path of the herd, but your path. The path of transformation. It will not be comfortable. It will not be safe. But it will be yours, and it will be meaningful. You are no longer running from life. You are running toward the fullest expression of it. So you begin the climb. This is the path of transformation. It is a stark contrast to the life you left behind. The old path was crowded, an escalator moving gently downward, filled with people distracted by their phones, all heading toward a generic gray city. It was easy, social, and comfortable. But you know now that its destination is a spiritual wasteland. Your new path is the opposite. It is steep, rocky, and often shrouded in mist. There is no one else on it. The silence is profound. At times, the loneliness is a heavy cloak. You will stumble. You will get bruised. You will be tempted to turn back to the easy path, to the warmth of the crowd. This is the test. Every step forward is a victory of your will. The people on the easy path below might look up and mock you. They will call you a fool for choosing struggle. They cannot understand why anyone would leave the safety of the herd. Their voices are a temptation, a siren song calling you back to meaninglessness. To continue your climb, you must become deaf to both their criticism and their praise. Your validation must come from within. But as you climb, something remarkable happens. You get stronger. The air gets thinner, but your lungs adapt. Your muscles ache, but they become like steel cables. You learn to read the weather, to find handholds where there seem to be none, to drink from mountain streams. You are not just enduring the environment, you are becoming one with it. The struggle is shaping you into a creature of the mountains. You learn that growth and comfort cannot coexist. To choose one is to reject the other. The comfort seeker's life is a flat line, a predictable and boring rhythm. Your life is a dramatic heartbeat, with soaring peaks of effort and deep valleys of recovery. It is dynamic, alive, and full of texture. You would not trade the worst day on your mountain for the best day in their padded room. The pain becomes your guide. When your legs burn, you know you are building strength. When your mind is racked with doubt, you know you are challenging a limiting belief. When your heart aches with loneliness, you know you are building self-reliance. You stop resisting these feelings and start welcoming them as indicators of progress. They are the signs that you are on the right path. This path requires you to shed everything that is not essential. You let go of your need for approval, your attachment to outcomes, your fear of judgment. Like a climber discarding unnecessary weight, you drop the heavy burdens of your old self. You become lighter, more agile, more focused. All that matters is the next step, the next breath, the next choice to continue. The freedom you find on this path is not the freedom from pain. It is the freedom to choose your pain. You are no longer a victim of circumstance, suffering passively. You are an agent, a warrior, choosing the noble pain of growth over the pathetic pain of decay. This choice, made every day, is the essence of what it means to be the master of your own life. As you climb higher, the view begins to change. You can see above the clouds that obscure the lives of those below. You see the world with a clarity that is impossible from the valley. You see the patterns, the connections, the vast beauty of it all. This perspective is the first reward of your struggle. It is a gift that can only be earned through effort. The transformation is profound. The generic person who started this journey is gone. In their place is a person whose face is etched with the story of their climb. Every line tells of a struggle overcome, a fear faced, a lesson learned. You are no longer just a person. You are a testament to the power of the human will to overcome. You have become your own work of art. You reach a summit, not the final summit, but a significant one. You look back at the winding path you have traveled, at the storms you have weathered, at the chasms you have crossed. There is no arrogance in your heart, only a deep, quiet gratitude for the struggle. You are grateful for the mountain, for it is the mountain that has made you who you are. You have learned the greatest lesson, that the obstacle is the way. The thing that seems to be blocking your path is, in fact, the path itself. Every difficulty is an opportunity. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every pain is a potential power-up. This is the alchemy of the soul, turning the lead of suffering into the gold of wisdom. The peace you feel now is not the fragile peace of the comfort seeker. It is not an absence of conflict. It is a deep, unshakable peace that exists in the midst of conflict. It is the calm eye of the hurricane. You know that more storms will come, more mountains will need to be climbed, but you no longer fear them. You are ready. This journey from the comfortable lie to the difficult truth has changed you fundamentally. You have walked through the fire and emerged not burned, but forged. You have answered the call to adventure and become the hero of your own story. This is the path of transformation, the hard but beautiful road to becoming who you are. Now the journey turns towards you, the viewer. This story is not just about a character in a video, it is about you. The principles are not abstract philosophy, they are a practical guide to your own life. You have stood at the crossroads of comfort and growth 1,000 times. You have felt the dull ache of an unlived life. You have felt the call to become more. Your pain, whatever its form, anxiety, heartbreak, failure, boredom, is not your enemy. It is your teacher, your personal mentor, knocking on your door. It is offering you a personalized curriculum for your own growth. For too long, you have been told to lock the door, to pretend no one is home. What would happen if, just once, you opened it? You hold the key to your own transformation. It is not found in a pill, on a screen, or in the approval of others. The key is your willingness to face discomfort. It is the courage to choose the path of growth, even when it hurts. It is the decision to stop running from your life and start engaging with it on the deepest level. This is a call to integration, to take this idea and weave it into the fabric of your daily life. Start small. Choose one small discomfort you've been avoiding. The difficult phone call, the first step of a workout, the first sentence of a creative project. Lean into it, feel the resistance, and then push through. Notice the feeling of strength on the other side. We have journeyed from the lie of comfort to the truth of growth. We saw how the flight from pain leads to a shallow, meaningless life. We learned from Nietzsche that suffering is the necessary ingredient for strength, purpose, and the creation of the self. We saw that the path of transformation is difficult and lonely, but that it leads to a freedom and power that comfort can never offer. You have everything you need to begin this journey right now. You have your pains, you have your challenges, you have your fears. These are not liabilities, they are your raw materials. They are the marble from which you will carve your masterpiece. They are the fuel for your fire. Do not curse them, do not waste them, use them. Empower yourself with this idea. Your life is not happening to you, it is happening for you. Every event, especially the painful ones, is an opportunity to practice courage, to learn resilience, to develop compassion, to become who you are. The universe is not punishing you, it is challenging you to rise to your own potential. The final, challenging question is this: what pain have you been avoiding? What difficult truth have you been unwilling to face? What mountain stands before you, waiting to be climbed? You know what it is. It is the thing that makes your heart beat a little faster when you think about it. That is your teacher. That is your path.